The media still claims that Hitler rolled into Austria with tanks and guns and took us over. Not true at all. The fact is that the Austrian people elected Hitler by 98% of the vote by means of the ballot box. Hitler did not look like a monster. He did not act like a monster. He talked like an American politician. Austria was in a very, very deep depression. We had more than 30% unemployment. We had 25% inflation. Farmers were going broke. Businesses were going broke. What was even worse, we had riots in our cities. Whole blocks of the cities burned down, and our law enforcement was almost helpless. They could not control the riots. The media told us that in Germany, where Hitler ruled since 1933, they had full employment, they had a high living standard, and everybody was driving the little Beetle car, the Volkswagen. We did not hear a whisper that anybody was being persecuted or arrested. We only heard good things. So we got a new government, National Socialism, Nationalsozialismus, from the word national, the word Nazi derived. So we were getting a Nazi government. So the first thing what happened, we had to carry national ID cards. You could not board a bus, you could not board a train without showing your national ID card. Don't ever let that happen here. The next thing what happened, Hitler gave us free radios. So we could listen to him. And then he nationalized the radio station. The newspaper, before it hit the street, it was being censored by the government. A lot of new things happened very quick. Hitler gave us equal rights. Oh, that sounded so very good. Equal rights for everybody. Also, everybody was getting a guaranteed income from the government. Equal rights was designed in two components, economics and social. Economics, that was designed to equalize the country's wealth, because everybody was entitled to a guaranteed equal income. In order to achieve that, they had to raise our taxes up to 70%. So they equalized the country's wealth by taxing us 70% to bring that level, the lower income level, into an equal level, and that is called socialism. The next thing what happened, education was nationalized. That morning, after the election, I walked into my classroom and the crucifix was gone. And the teacher said, this morning, we greet each other, Heil Hitler. And she said, we don't pray anymore. We sing Deutschland, Deutschland über alles, Germany above everybody. She also said that on Sunday we could not go to church anymore because Sunday was compulsory National Youth Day. We had to attend at 8 o'clock in the morning to the gymnasium instead of going to church. The first 2 hours we had political education. Today, I would call it political indoctrination. We were being told not to listen to our parents. They were just old old-fashioned old fogies. They did not understand the young people. Only Hitler did. So don't listen to your parents anymore. And besides, you had freedom and you had rights. So our parents could not tell us anymore when to come home at night. We could decide that for ourselves. Next thing, what happened? He nationalized our healthcare system. We had a reasonable good healthcare system, which was financed by private insurance. This all changed very fast. My brother-in-law, who was a family physician, he told me that when he arrived at his office at 8 o'clock in the morning, 40 patients would be lined up waiting for him to be cared for. He said it was like practicing medicine on a conveyor belt. He only had time, 5 or 10 minutes per patient, and besides all the paperwork. Naturally, all the doctors were being salaried by the government. There was no more free market. My brother-in-law was a very conscientious doctor. He would only prescribe medication what the patient really needed. But if that medication was not on the government's list, they took it out of his salary. So a lot of doctors left the country. A lot of doctors left, including my own husband. They created a network of informers. We could not trust our neighbors. We could not trust our friends. We couldn't trust anybody. We couldn't trust the mailman. Nobody. We were afraid to talk to anybody, anything political, because we did not know who was informing on everybody. We also had gun control. The government said that children were playing with guns, and we had hunting accidents, people accidentally shooting each other, and we had criminals again, murderers. The only way that they could track the murderer was by the serial number of the gun. So bring your gun to the police station, then we can register the serial number and we can track the criminal. And we thought that was a good idea. Not long afterwards, they said no, it did not help. We could not track all the criminals. The best way to have no more crimes and no more people getting hurt, bring your guns to the police station, and they already know who had guns because we registered our guns. Keep your guns and buy more guns. And dictatorship did not happen overnight. It took 5 years. Had we kept our guns, we would have fought a bloody battle to the last man and women to keep our freedom. But we had no guns. A classic example is, in Switzerland, it is law that everybody has to have a gun. And Hitler took every country in Europe except Switzerland. Like I said, the only information what we had, what the government provided for us, the nationalized radio station and the censored newspaper, we had no information, none whatsoever. We did not know that we had concentration camps. We found that out after the Americans and the Allies liberated us, that we had concentration camps, and we were shocked. When the people fear the government, that's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, that's liberty.